demonstration is about how to glaze your pottery. Your clay has gone through quite a few stages. There are technically 6 stages of clay. One is the slip, so that's going to be the watered down clay we use for our glue. This is called the plastic stage, where you start to kind of mold and shape the project that you want. And then it turns into kind of leather hard stage, where it starts to harden up a little bit and take the form that you want. We let it dry before we put it in the kiln. So at this stage, all the moisture has come out of the clay, and it's called bone dry. This is bone dry clay. After we fire it in the kiln, it comes out white, because this is a white styled clay, and this is called BISQUEWARE. BISQUEWARE is the stage of clay where you can start to add color. Lots of different things you can do for color. Watercolor paints, tempera paints are great, but something that a lot of students love to use is the glaze. The glaze is special because it's actually a type of liquid glass that is special just for pottery. So glaze is essentially a paint that's just for clay. And what we do is we are going to paint it using the colors that you want, and then we put it back in the kiln a second time and it will come out this color. So here's how we're going to use the glazes in this class. So first, like any other painting, you're going to need a messy mat. I'm going to demonstrate on this piece right here. And the colors that we have are really anything you want. And they're going to come in these little cups that look like this. On the cup, you're going to see the name of the color. You're going to see a tile that's going to show you what it's going to look like after it comes out of the kiln. When you use these, just take one color at a time. You can use it at your seat and then return it when you're done using it. So I'm going to pop the lid off. I'm going to keep it right there. And you can tell that the red does not look exactly like this because it needs to go into the kiln in order to change into this color. I did multiple layers to kind of show you how many layers of glaze you should add to your piece. So this top layer here is going to be 1, the middle one is going to be 2 layers, and the bottom one is going to be 3 layers. So depending on how light or dark you want your color, that's how many layers you would add for your piece. As far as brushes, you can use the regular paint brushes in the painting center, but you can pick what size is going to work best for your piece. Whether you have large areas or small areas, try to find a brush that's going to fit into the area that you want. When we use the brushes with glaze, you don't need any water. So I don't have water with the glaze, and we definitely don't add water to this. No water is needed for your glaze, just the glaze itself. So just like painting, I'm just going to kind of go in slowly. And I'm going to start to paint the area that I want this color, dipping. Notice that the glaze is staying just on the brush part. I'm not getting it up on the handle. I'm controlling where I want my glaze to go. As far as where you glaze, notice I'm taking my time. With this piece, I'm trying to stay within my coil. So you just want to make sure you go really slow. So when you're done, there's a few things that you need to check. First of all, first thing you want to check is, did you cover up all of the white areas? There should be no white of the clay showing through. So did you get around the edges? Around the edges, every little groove that you see needs to have glaze in it. Anything that you do not have glaze on, it will stay that white color. Even if you want a white area, make sure you use the white glaze in that area, and then it will stay white. Another thing that you need to check is if there's any glaze on the bottom. So sometimes when you're glazing, some of the glaze can get onto the bottom of the piece. It's really important that you get a damp paper towel and just kind of rub and get that glaze off of the bottom. There should be no glaze, even around the edges. Really make sure there's no glaze on the bottom of your piece. Otherwise, it will stick to my kiln shelf and I won't be able to get it off. So really, really important. Do not put any glaze on the bottom of your piece. And that is glazing. Have fun creating!